All right, Helena, thank you for coming in. That was awesome. You're doing so good, so strong. Loving it. I think now it's just kind of honing a couple things, honing in postures while you're doing some of your lower body work. Keep it nice and tall with your head in the right spot. Honing in a little bit of balance, better, but still a little wobbly in those ankles. And then yeah, there's a few moves where now we can be a little powerful and really get after it here a little bit. I want to start with I got the three strength moves, right? These are the ones that are going to give you power, strength. I know we want speed. You can only be fast if you are strong. So this is how we're going to build those leg muscles and get those tree trunks going here. So we know we're going to do a squat. And I have two options or two versions of the squat that I want you to do. Obviously, the easiest, I shouldn't say easiest, but the simplest, the one that's most similar to what we used to do, let me grab these real quick, is I still want you to have a little bit of heel lift, not big at all. You're so close to having your feet on the floor, right? But I don't want you popping up on your toes, so your heels are engaged, and then we do our big squat, stay tall, keep that head high and straight. As you know, the higher the head, then the better your posture is while you do this. I do not want you rounding your back while you're doing this. What's lovely about this one is we have some different varieties you can do. If you have two weights, you can go handles here and really just work on getting a good quad burn. If you want to go a little bit, if you have a little bit lighter weight and you can handle it, let's go overhead. This is great because it gets the core engaged, really focuses on that posture, and quads are still working, I promise. All right, love that option. And then the other version is going to be what we did against the wall. What this allows you to do, because you're leaning against the wall and you have a little bit of a stopper here, whether this is the bench or a small chair or a stool or anything, it lets you go really heavy. Now, encourage you to get better at holding those weights, right? So you can do a little heavier. But this one, is maybe you got that 35-pound weight under your chin. You're leaning against the wall. Now it's just burning quads, right? Strength. You might not get 20 reps on these. This might be more like, I'm going for 8 because it's heavier, and that's okay. This one's going to give you a lot of power. This is awesome. This one is going to give you strength at a lower range of motion. Remember, I want you to pause a little bit down here and then go up. All right, spend some good time down here and then go up. And then if you're doing this one, it's just kind of do what you can do because this one's hard. So against the wall, a little shorter, but just strong, as heavy as you can go. This one's a little more in the medium. Let's hang out down here. And then overhead is, you're probably gonna lose a little bit of range of motion, but that's okay. So squat in one of those different varieties as often as you can. And again, as far as reps, a couple sets of 10, one set of 30. Heck, you can go down here and just hang out for a minute. I mean, forget holding planks and holding bridges for a minute. Why can't we hold squats for a minute? Why can't we hold lunges for a minute, right? So let's just spend some good time down here, a la the catcher stance, okay? The other one we want to do is a deadlift. So I still think your best deadlift version is single leg and then having just a little something for your hand. All right, so still doing something like this. I love this because it works on that balance, right? You might get a little wobbly and that's fine. This is here just in case. If you're gonna lose your balance, you can grab it real quick. Again, you can go semi-heavy. You can go both hands down here. Kind of reset my balance there a little bit here. And then big thing here is, again, we're always working on this core and this posture. Keep this guy nice and straight. Don't get too wobbly or too sideways. So both legs there, as many reps as you want to do. Love that one. And then we kind of got away from, I'm a lunge guy, but we got away from those. I think you're doing so good on those. I want to do step up. So this could be on your bench. If you guys can get some sort of a tall, this is like 18 inches we did in here. If you get a taller stair that's stable enough, that'd be awesome. Now this one, we have two options. You can either hold some weights, hold your 10s, work on it. Boom. I like this heel lift, or this other leg lifting too, because it gets that hip flexor engaged. Big power, boom, I'm running. Boom, I'm running, right? Really work on, try to treat this to be a little bit more related to that sprint workout we used to do against the wall, right? Used to be this. Now I can do the same thing. Boom, no wall, but now gravity. So holding weights, heel lift, or if we're not doing the weights, that's fine. But I'd love to see like hands overhead or something to make that a little more challenging, if you can. So that's it that's lower body power. That's squats, that's deadlifts with one leg, and that's step ups. Do one of those every day, please. That's gonna get you strong. For core, we came up with a few core things today that we were missing. Again, you're still doing your planks and your bridges and all your work at swim. This is gonna be a little more strength-based, and also for that posture, right? Number one, we changed your V-ups. So instead of doing this big, long arms and legs V-up, which gets pretty tiring after about 2 reps, forget the lower half. I just want you working on raising that upper half. This is the only part that's doing the core anyway. When you lift your legs, that's just hip flexors. And we're already addressing those. So this is a great option for getting better at V-ups, just better at your core flexion, regardless. Now the opposite of core flexion is gonna be core extension, working on that back. So that's the one we did. You can either, if you guys get one of those long bars, and I'll send you a link. This is nice. Across your back, you just want to fold and unfold. Fold and unfold. So this strengthens your low back. And again, what happens when I'm up here? Posture. It's always going to be about uprightness and posture. And if you don't have the bar, you can do the same thing with a plate or hug a dumbbell. Doesn't need a lot of weight. I'd say anywhere between 10 and 20 pounds will do the trick here. I think you could definitely handle 20s on this one. So that's a great one. Again, you're never gonna fail on that one. I just want 20 really good reps, right? I just want it to be really good technique. You're controlling the weight, not the weight controlling you. A couple more that we had for core. We did some rotation work. So there's 2 different rotations to do. So if you grab a band, put that about chest high, shoulder high, you can do work like this and work on this upper half rotation. Love this. Again, because it's a band, you're not going to get hurt. You can be powerful with it. This is where let me move this just a hair, sorry. This is where we talked about, adding in a throw or a punch, right? Really work on whipping these hips around. Hips, chest, then arm. Boom. Boom. Other side, again, I always want you probably starting with your left arm if you don't mind, just because it's a little bit behind the right one as it stands. So we have upper body rotation, and then we also talked about lower half rotation. That was here on the wall. Okay, turn and rotate, turn and rotate. Other side, turn and rotate. Boom. Again, looks very similar to kind of what we've already done. So you have some wall drills if you want to. And then the last thing, this is my list for just kind of rehabby, getting better at postures. I want you in that deep squat, walking this rolling chair around the room. And I know it's silly, but man, it works. It gets you used to being in that catcher stance. It's gonna get used to popping up on the catcher stance. Again, heel to toe, and not just being on your toes all the time. If you walked around the room without the chair, you could do it, but you'd be up on your toes all the time, which is kind of worn out. To get these quads engaged, they want your heel on the ground. Boom. So walking like that is, again, set yourself up a little Mario Kart course around the house. You can't do that enough. You can't do, and if you don't, forget walking around the house, just next to a chair, next to a bench. I want this to be a good resting position. I want this to be a position that you are comfortable, because you're down in your catcher stance, but We're not up here. It only counts if your heels are down. So you gotta probably hold on to something to make that happen. From here, you know, do a little cat-cow, work on your posture. Again, I don't want this. I want tall. So walking around tall, going into a couple squats from there already, piece of cake. Should be easy. Another one for rehabby kind of purposes, something just to get better at, is gonna be the pogos. Again, just around the house. This is stuff easy to do, brother and sister, right? Get them doing it with you. Bounce around. We gotta build those springs in your ankles. Your ankles, ever since the surgery, they got their motion back, but still a little bit on the weak side. You can see that with your balance sometimes. So this is just getting used to those ankles being in charge, right? Throwing in a couple high ones every once in a while. Just getting used to that. So you can't do enough pogoing, and you can't do enough crab walking, or whatever we're gonna call this one. Couple of cues when you are doing your weightlifting, dry land or at home, either way, head is where your body goes. So really focus on head still. If you're doing a squat, head high. Don't look down when you do these. When you look down when you're weightlifting, your shoulders go with you, your posture goes with you. If you look up, everything's where they should be. You're gonna be stronger in that position, all right? So watch your head position, watch your posture. The posture, it's hard right now to do that, but as that back strengthens, you'll get there. Heck, even without the bench and the heavy weights, just doing these wall squats without any weight is still a great workout. If I take my back off the wall and I just have my butt engaged, but I want to keep that posture, that was challenging today for you because you wanted to dive in. If you keep your head tall, you're going to be looking at the right spot. So this would be a great one to maybe do if you're really, if you're tired, you don't want to do the weighted ones, you don't want to go too heavy. Just 20 of these, butt against the wall, head tall, and just making sure your low back is doing its job. It'll be ready for the next time, a lot better. I know that's a lot, sorry, so let me recap. Strength, squats, step ups, deadlifts, keep doing them. Maintain good posture, maintain good balance. Your form is good enough now where we can get a little bit crazier with the weights. I want you introducing a little bit heavier than you're used to. That's how they grow. Also, I want you to work on depth with those. Hang out at the low spots for a little while. Really take your time down there. Do not be in a rush to finish these reps. Core, we had the upper V-up, just the upper half only with the dumbbell. We had the low back folding, and then we had a rotation with the band and rotation with our legs. So those are pretty, you can do those anywhere and everywhere. And then from a rehab standpoint, I want you doing a lot of pogos with your ankles and a lot of deep squatting, walking with that rolling chair, or whatever you can find there. So I love it, man. I'd love to catch up in a month and kind of see where we are and keep this going, keep this train rolling. Good seeing you. Bye.